What's up guys, Josh here, back for a new video where I'm going to be talking about something different. This isn't a fight review, this isn't information about the channel, anything like that. Instead, I'm going to be talking about the new video game release, Undisputed. Undisputed, obviously known for being the first major boxing video game released. It's the Fight Night Champion, well over a decade ago. It's been in early access for a long time on PC, now it's finally come out early this week on Xbox, PlayStation 5, as well as PC. Now that it's finally released though, what do we think? I'm going to go ahead and give my brief thoughts as somebody who's put in a bunch of hours into the game over the last week. No, I did not play it in early access, in case you're curious. I can't judge on if the game's had massive leaps from early access to the actual full release. Based on what everybody's saying, that seems to be the case. I'm just going to be honest with you guys, pretty big fan of it thus far. Is it a perfect game? No. Is it a decent game that you're probably going to be able to sink a lot of time into, especially if you're a boxing fan or a fighting fan in general? Yeah, I'd say so. First off, we got to just start with the gameplay. Up and down. You know what I mean? I'm full disclosure, Fight Night Champion, I think we're one of the few perfect sports games to ever exist. Greatest boxing game of all time, greatest combat sports game of all time. The fluidity in the combinations and the way that they punch, it's such a simple thing that it sounds like, but it really, Fight Night Champion did it all so perfectly well. Undisputed, there are times whenever you're playing the game and it feels like that. Everything's fluid, everything just functions well. You got using Canelo Alvarez, just flow between combinations, and so forth. And then there are other times where, I don't know if it's an online issue or if it's just a game issue in general, it doesn't feel good. Your guy will be walking forward, not putting his hips into shots, and just like almost looking like a inflatable arm tube man out there, basically. I mean, just some of the winging shots look ridiculous, and it's even worse whenever you're playing and you have guys winging shots that are using like Deontay Wilder online, and so they're still they'll miss one out of, they'll land 1 out of 21 shots, but because they're using Deontay Wilder, that's a knockout shot, you know what I mean? That's not to say that the game's bad, man. Like, I really think that overall, I have fun with it. I have more good games than I do bad as far as having fun, but it's not perfect by any means. As the gameplay goes, let's just go ahead and tackle the biggest issue, what everybody's saying, graphics. I'll say, I'm somebody who went into this knowing that it's an indie studio that made this game. I know about the long development time. I know how it used to look. I've been somebody who's watching all those. They had this whole YouTube series where they're showing the development of the game. I'm somebody who I watched all those videos, so now seeing the full release, it's like, okay, does it look like, I don't know, like Madden? Like, no. Like, does it look like 2K? No. Is it going to be the graphical capabilities of, is it fucking like like Crisis? No. Like it's not that type of game. I think for what it is, it looks good. The overall player models look pretty good. A lot of the venues, which I will say, there's only a few licensed venues in this thing, but one of them is the Kingdom Arena out in Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia obviously paid through Riyadh Season Circuit, LLC paid to have this game kind of produced. So I will say that looks great. That's like by far the best venue. Overall, the player models look good. Even Jimmy Lennon Jr. working as the announcer before the pre-fight introductions, he looks good. Everybody that's a real person does look good, so I'll give credit to the dev team for that. Everything else, I mean, like I said, it's an indie studio. Sure, it has the Deep Silver logo. Sure, it has Canelo Alvarez, all these big names. But this is still a development team that does not have a lot of experience under their belt, so I'm not that surprised that it looks the way that it does. Now, let's go ahead and tackle one of, my opinion, one of the biggest issues of this game. There's not a lot to do. One of my biggest complaints in the year of our Lord 2024 with video games is, if games are going to cost anywhere between $60 to $85, which this game is, they have a normal edition, which I believe is $60, and then they have the deluxe edition called the WBC edition, which comes with like Chavez, Julio Cesar Chavez, as well as like Dimitri Bivol, Caleb Plant, a few other guys that they locked behind that DLC, which I think is ridiculous, but that's another conversation for another day. If you're going to charge people for that much, you have to have $60 to $80 worth of content in this game. Do I feel like upon release, it's worth that price tag? No. I'm a huge boxing diehard. I play this game a lot. I'm really enjoying it. But at the same time, if you're somebody who needs stuff to do in your games, like you're not somebody who's just going to go straight in to play, like, okay, quick fight, play online, maybe play career mode a little bit. If you're not going to be that guy, then there's no point in buying this game. You're somebody that, for example, let's say you're playing UFC 4, UFC 5. Do you like the career mode? Well, you got the career mode. Way less to do in here. It feels very similar to the Fight Night Champion career mode if you played that over a decade ago. It's very simple. You're going to train, you're going to recover, you're going to do some social media posts or something small like that, and then you're going to move on to a fight. And then you're going to book a fight and you're going to do it all over again for 60 times, or however many times your guy's going to fight in the career mode until you retire or forced into retirement. And then outside of that, you have the quick fight, like I said, and you have the online mode, but that's basically it. I mean, they have these small little series where they get fights of the week, which you can fight in their random matchups. This isn't a huge roster. I mean, we're talking about 60 to 70 boxers in this game, and several of them are like, no offense, but there are guys, for example, Eddie Hall, who is like an influencer boxer, if you want to call him an actual boxer to begin with. And full credit to him for training and making the walk and all that, but it's not. The heavyweight roster is a few legends mixed in, a few current guys mixed in that are very good, and then you have a few, like, why is it is. So I think that the roster could use a lot of beefing up, and let's keep something in mind here. They have a lot of guys that are supposed to be in this game, probably is DLC. So that's another thing that if it turns out that all these guys that they have on their website that are supposed to be in this game, they end up being DLC, this thing's gonna get knocked down for my final score, at least a point or two. Overall, like I said, there's not a whole lot to do. The gameplay's fun. The graphics are fine. I'm not somebody who buys into that talk at all. I think the career mode is fun but simple. The career creative boxer works very well. I like it. It's not too in-depth. It's pretty in-depth. So yeah, man, with all that being said, what is my final review, my final score, so to speak? I'm not a big score guy, but if I had to give one, I'd give it a 7 out of 10. It's fine. You know what I mean? It's a fun game. If you're a hardcore boxing fan, I'd say buy it. You're gonna enjoy it, and even if you don't enjoy it now, they're gonna keep on working on it. And this is a very young dev team, so I'm giving them a lot of slack here. But let me also be clear. Like I said, if they put most of these guys behind a paywall, that's a huge issue. If they don't do anything in the future beyond just having the simple career mode and having quick fight, there's going to be more issues in the future, and this game will get knocked down to like a 5 out of 10. Maybe I'll revisit it in like a year or two time. Like I said, this is still very early in this game's life cycle, and so we'll see how I feel about it later. But for right now, 7 out of 10, Undisputed. That being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's not something I do very often. If I seem kind of rambly, that's because I'm a guy that rambles, man. I'm a podcaster at heart. I'm not very focused when it comes to making these sort of things, but I hope you guys enjoyed. Yeah, follow me at Josh Evanoff on Twitter, at Courtside Sound for all things relating to the show. New podcast Friday as always, and I'll be sure to go ahead and have Angel will give his thoughts there as well. Hope you guys enjoyed.